Hello, everyone. Welcome to our show today called NG 英文. My name is John Drummond, or 杨浩恩.
Hello, 大家好，欢迎回到我们西平方的节目 NG 英文，我是 Angela。We
have a great show for you today with our good friend Nina, who's known around the Taiwanese community as Nina.
是的，今天我们很幸运的邀请到了多国混血美女妮娜来到 NG 英文，跟大家聊聊她从小在各个文化背景下的成长经验，跟一路走来学语言的心路历程。
But before we get to the interview with Nina and I, Angela is going to help us break down some fun British English slang that Nina shares about later in the interview. These were actually two fun new British slang words that I had never heard before, so I was happy to add them to my personal British English slang dictionary, and I hope you will too. Yeah. So take it away, Angela, here on NG 英文。
好的，没问题John，谢谢你的介绍。那没有错，今天我们要来跟各位分享几个常见的英国俚语，请大家赶快把你的 NG cheat sheet 这个 NG 英文专属的笔记小抄准备好，我们要开始咯。待会在访谈中呢，妮娜会提到说她之前在伦敦的时候有跟一个男生约会，但后来呢，某天这个男生就问妮娜说，为什么你最近好像都比较少跟我聊天啊？是不是有在认识其他的 Donny， 在跟别的 Donny 聊？听完之后，妮娜就想说，哈，可是你的名字不叫 Donny， 然后我也不认识其他什么叫 Donny 的人，到底你在说谁啊？后来上网查才知道说，原来 Donny 这个字在英国除了可以是人名以外，也是年轻人口中所谓的男生。就说那位本来在跟妮娜约会的人，以为妮娜有认识其他对象，其他男生才慢慢比较没有在跟他聊天。好，那除了这个 Donny 以外呢，我们也来认识几个英国常见到不行的俚语，让你下次到英国旅游的时候可以轻松秒懂这些道地说法哦。假设呢，今天你在英国逛街逛到一半，突然想要上厕所，那要讲厕所或是洗手间，一般我们马上反应可能都不外乎是这个 toilet 或是 bathroom 或这个 restroom， 但这些用法都比较偏美式一点。有的英国人可能听到你讲 bathroom 这个字还会一头雾水，想说bathroom 那是浴室，那你要不要回家比较快？所以在英国的话呢，我们可以试着用 loo L-O-O loo这个字它其实是源自于法文水的发音。后来呢，英国比较上流社会的人可能觉得说，讲法文较高秀，比较优雅，比较厉害一点，所以就也开始用这个字来表示厕所。甚至呢，有的人觉得讲 loo 比讲 toilet 来的有礼貌哦。所以下次你在英国要问厕所在哪里的时候，不妨试试这句 Where is the loo？那像在伦敦这样的大城市里面如果要搭乘大众运输工具的时候，一般我们可能都比较习惯会用 metro 或是 subway 来表示捷运、地铁这一些，但这一样也是比较美式的用法。伦敦的地铁一般他们会用 tube 来表示 T-U-B-E tube。好，为什么嘞？因为有些伦敦的地铁它的隧道又圆又长，跟管子水管一样，所以大家也就慢慢习惯用 tube 来代称。再来，足球迷到了英国应该都会想要去看一场曼联或是阿森利物浦等等的比赛。那在英国一讲到足球通常都会听到这个字 footy F-O-O-T-Y， 或是有的人也会拼 F-O-O-T-I-E。 好，这个字呢，它是从 football 来的，在英国足球叫做 football， 在美国才叫做 soccer。 但这边要注意哦，在美国如果你说 football，一般指的是那种很像全身穿盔甲在那边撞来撞去、隆来隆去的那个美式足球。这部分呢，大家比较小心英式和美式的用法哦。第四个 mate M-A-T-E mate， 这原本的意思呢是同伴、伙伴。在英国或是讲英式英文的国家，当地人呢常常都会用 mate 来称呼他们的朋友，像例如男生之间常讲的什么谢啦兄弟，在英国就可以说 thanks mate。好，我的英国腔好像还要待加强。这时候呢，在意思跟用法上就跟美国的 bro 或是 dude 蛮类似的。最后我们来教大家两个表达开心跟难过的道地英式说法。如果这趟英国之旅让你收获满满，开心的不得了，你可以用这个字 chuffed 来形容 chuffed。 像例如 I am very chuffed， 或者你也可以说 I am chuffed to bits。I'm chuffed to bits， 意思呢就是我非常开心，对人生满意的不得了，很快乐这样子。 那相反的，如果你玩得不开心，觉得没有值回票价，心情很郁闷很难过，可以说 I am gutted. I'm gutted. 好 gutted 这个字在英国就是伤心难过的意思。这样子大家比较了解了吗？希望刚才讲的这些对你的英文学习之路有所帮助。如果有漏掉没有听到或是写下的也不用担心，可以上我们的 YouTube 频道，随时你想要听几次就给它听几次。有什么问题的话呢，也欢迎在底下留言让我们知道哦。那如果大家都准备好了的话，我们就赶快进入今天的访谈内容，听听妮娜的分享吧。
All right. As always, thank you, Miss Angela Ma, for that wonderful NG英文 breakdown. My guest today on the show is a true mix of many cultures. She is Taiwanese, Indian, and Portuguese, and she is a designer, model, TV personality, a lover of architecture, traveling, and so much more. So everyone, please welcome my good friend, Nina.
What's up? How's it going?
What's up, Nina? Thank you for joining us today here on NG英文. So you have such a colorful life. You are a woman of multiple cultures. You have lived in many places throughout the world. But our journey together began in 宜兰。
访谈一开始大家会听到说John 跟 Nina 也是在宜兰认识的一整个是大家都宜兰人的概念就对了。我也喜欢宜兰。Nina 说他们那时候是参加一个净滩活动认识的，而且他家人也都住在宜兰，只是那时候他自己还在台北念书，在念这个建筑设计 Architectural Design。那另外等一下 Nina 也有提到说她本身因为妈妈的关系对艺术一直都很有兴趣，很喜欢跟艺术有关的大小事。那如果有看过妮娜本人的听众朋友，想必会对她各国混血的五官留下深刻印象。她说爸爸是印度人，也是葡萄牙人，但是却在英国长大，而妈妈是台湾人，自己则是在葡萄牙出生。那待会在最后大家会听到这个字 shape， 它在这里不是形状的意思哦，而是当作动词用，有形成或是影响一个人性格的意思。赶快听听妮娜她家里多元文化的成长背景吧。
Yes, we met in Ilan. I think it was a beach cleanup, I believe.
That's right.
But yeah, I remember seeing you and I was like, oh, okay, he's cute. And then we just became friends.
I pay her to say that, don't worry. Yeah, that's right. We met at a beach cleanup at Waiao Beach.
Yeah.
And at the time, you were not living in Ilan, but your family was living in Ilan, right?
Yes, my parents live in Ilan and my brother as well. I think at the time I was living in Taipei. So I was studying there and I studied architectural design. So yeah, I've always been interested in art and drawing and creating. And I think a big reason is also because my mom's an artist and she's had a huge influence in my life. But yeah, my mom is Taiwanese and my dad is Indian, Portuguese / English. It's a bit complicated, but he grew up in England. And yeah, so I was born in Portugal and growing up in different multi-cultures, it's really shaped the person that I am today as well.
Yeah, I love that. And, you said it so beautifully as it shapes who you are because you're exposed at such a young age to so many different aspects of your mother's life as an artist and a Taiwanese woman, and then your father's life as being Indian and Portuguese in London.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, that does say a lot about who you are today. And I love that, yeah, you've kind of channeled that creative energy into, now being a creative designer and being, a graduate of architectural design.
Thank you.
So, yeah,
that.
very, very cool. So you are back now in Taiwan currently, and you've, been staying creative. And recently we got to work together on a little project where you were kind of wanting to hear expats' opinions about how it is to live in Taiwan versus the rest of the world. Is that right?
接下来妮娜会跟各位分享到一个她最近在做的专题计划，主要呢是在访问这里一些 expats 这个外国人，比较他们对于住在台湾跟住在其他国家的想法，而我们主持人 John 也有参与哦。妮娜说会想要做这个专题是因为一直有人问她为什么要从英国搬回来台湾，加上最近肺炎疫情的关系，大家也都不断的问她在防疫工作上英国跟台湾的差别，是不是入境台湾要隔离14天这项措施真的有助于减缓疫情的发展，所以他就想说干脆来做一部影片提供资讯，收集在台湾外国人的想法，回答大家的问题。
Yes, exactly. So since I've been back, I've actually received a lot of questions regarding why I came back and what the difference is between the UK and being in Taiwan during this epidemic, and whether or not I had to do the 14-day quarantine. So I figured it'd be nice to make a video that's like informative. Yeah, and I like I said, like you mentioned, I've also interviewed some of my expat friends on how they feel about living in Taiwan during this epidemic, and why they think Taiwan is doing so well. So I feel like that's something that the world should know about as well.
Yeah, I think that's great, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And so thank you for including me, as we are, lovers of Taiwan and the Taiwan Jiao spirit. So we also have gotten to work together kind of in the entertainment scene. So as this kind of topic of you being maybe a multicultural kid, so you have to figure out kind of as you go on these different talk shows, what country you want to represent on that specific show. Is that right? Can you share a little bit about that?
如果有在追踪在 follow 妮娜消息的听众朋友，可能都会知道她常常会上一些电视节目，分享多元文化背景下成长的相关经验。那透过这样子的方式呢，让妮娜除了可以跟更多台湾人分享她背后的文化以外，也可以让大家开开眼界，知道说原来世界可以这么不一样。这边等一下各位会听到妮娜说这句 Open their minds to different things. Open someone's mind to 什么什么什么，意思就是对某个人事物思想开放，或是接受某个对自己来说相对陌生的人事物。马上来听这段内容。
Yeah, definitely. So I think it's quite convenient for me being like multicultural with different countries to choose from. Like when I go on these TV shows, I get to represent whatever country I want. And it's nice because I feel like I can share a bit more of my culture and maybe let Taiwanese people know how it can be quite different and open their mind to different things as well. So yeah, I do really enjoy that. And yet, like I mentioned before, it is a big part of my life. Just like being brought up in different cultures and to be able to share that, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I love that. And I think you're a great representative for this. And, whatever you choose to do in the future, I think it will be wonderful because you're drawing from so many different cultural experiences. And I think, you've created this wonderful soup of Nina, and now you can share that with the world.
Ooh, okay, a soup.
Thinking then about your life in Taiwan. So you came to Taiwan when you were about 7 or 8 years old.
Exactly.
But you were born in Portugal.
Yes.
So when you came to Taiwan, did you have any Chinese, like Mandarin Chinese, at your disposal, or did you have to learn everything brand new?
相信大家都还记得前面有没有讲到说 Nina 她是在葡萄牙出生的吧？她是到后来7、8岁的时候才搬回来台湾。那因为在这之前呢，在家里都是讲英文，去学校上课也都是讲葡萄牙文，所以等于回来台湾的时候，中文完全是要 learn it from scratch， 要从零开始学。什么都还不会的时候就被丢到学校，到一个语言完全陌生的环境，没办法跟同学老师沟通交流，但幸好久而久之也就学起来了。而且妮娜说她觉得这才是学语言最好的方法，因为整个全中文的环境让她被迫一定要去讲，一定要去沟通练习。
Yeah, so I grew up speaking English at home, and also it's like I did some schooling in Portugal as well, so I also knew basic Portuguese. But no, coming to Taiwan for the first time, I actually had to learn it from scratch, and I was basically just thrown into local Taiwanese schools. So it was quite tough in the beginning because I couldn't communicate with any of my classmates or teachers, but eventually you pick things up. I've been here for over a decade. So yeah, I think I was lucky enough that I came at that age where I was put in an environment where you're forced to speak the language or you're forced to have to communicate with someone. And I think that's actually the best way to learn a language.
Yeah, I think that is true, and we will kind of touch on that later in the show. So you were telling me something off air that was so fun, is a little rule in the house that your father had about language. So can you share this rule with us?
不知道各位听众朋友小时候在家里，爸爸妈妈有没有制定一些什么一定要遵守的规矩呢？接下来妮娜要跟大家讲一个以前他爸爸在家里的规定。他说那时候因为要搬回来台湾了，他爸爸就规定说绝对不可以在家里讲中文，只能说英文。因为他爸知道说搬回台湾之后，妮娜会有很多讲中文的机会。那为了要让他持续能够用英文沟通，就规定在家里只能讲英文。而且他说只要在家里一听到中文，爸爸都会很生气。不过他说有一部分可能也是因为他听不懂中文，而不完全是因为妮娜违反规矩。听起来好像这个规定有点严格耶，但妮娜说其实觉得爸爸当初这个决定是好的，不然他现在可能只会讲中文，英文就全都忘光光了。那等一下大家要听到这一句 If you don't use it, you lose it。 这句呢就是把语言能力描述的真真切切的一句英文谚语，意思是一个东西或是一个语言你一定要常去用它，不然你不用的话就会忘记，就还给老师了。
Yeah, so basically growing up, we grew up speaking English, but coming to Taiwan, my father knew that we'd be using Chinese a lot in school, in our environment, whenever we go out, so he made up a little rule that we were not allowed to speak Mandarin Chinese at home at all. Like if he heard us speaking Chinese, he'd be very, very upset. But to be honest, I think part of it was also because he doesn't understand the language. So it kind of, killing two birds with one stone there.
Yeah, maybe because he doesn't know. But yeah, I like the way you were saying that too, is because, maybe it was he wanted you guys to not lose English, right?
Exactly.
And that is his cultural upbringing, primarily speaking English his whole life. But yeah, he wanted to be able to communicate with you guys and have that connection still. Was that the main reason?
Yeah, he wanted us to keep both languages, basically, and he felt like that was the best way. And I agree with it. I mean, I'm glad he made up that rule. Otherwise, I think I would slowly start to lose English, because as they say, if you don't use it, you lose it.
That is right. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
So your brother lives in Ilan currently with your father and mother. So was that a similar situation for him? Did he have to work harder to learn Chinese when he came to Taiwan?
在这段访谈中呢 John 跟 Nina 会谈到说 Nina 的哥哥啊其实比他晚2年才来台湾，所以那时候哥哥花比较多的时间才把中文学好。但是现在呢他们两个都在台湾待超过 a decade， 待超过10年了，所以其实中文跟英文也都一样流利。这边 decade 就是10年的意思，所以 a decade 是一个10年， two decades 就是2个10年，20年的意思，以此类推。
Yes, he did. So I came to Taiwan, I think, maybe 2 years before my brother did. So he actually took a bit longer for his Chinese to become fluent, but right now he is fluent in both languages as well. It just took some time, also because he was older than me. But yeah, I mean, we've been here for over a decade, so you're bound to get there, right?
You're bound to get there. Yeah, especially living in Ilan. Shout out to Ilan, though. But yeah, and that makes me think, as you have developed language over the years, can you share some maybe tips and advice? What has really helped you think, with your language?
聊了这么多，现在我们终于要请 Nina 跟大家分享一些她觉得在学习语言方面觉得蛮有帮助的一些小撇步。但其实就跟我们很多其他来宾讲的一样，最重要的还是你要有那个语言环境。Nina 说就像当初她爸爸规定的一样，要求他们在家里一定只能讲英文，因为在那个环境里面你跟他讲中文他听不懂，并且要强迫自己去用对方才懂的语言沟通。他说就是因为这样子给自己在无形中增加了很多练习英文的机会。总之呢就是老话一句，让自己沉浸在那个语言环境里，而且要多练习多用才会进步。
I would definitely say being in the environment. So I think that's one of the reasons that we've mentioned before. My father wanted us to keep speaking English. So it's basically putting yourself in an environment where you are forced to use a language, forced to listen to it. And I personally feel like that's the best way to learn a language. If you feel like you have the convenience of speaking your own language, or if you think that they understand your own language, then you're not going to try as hard. But if you're left with no choice, then it just pushes you to grow, doesn't it?
Yeah, I agree. The environment is key. So thinking even further then about language now, as you do live in London currently, even though you're relocated for the moment in Taiwan, you're dealing with a lot of British slang or English slang versus American slang. So can you share maybe some fun British English versus American slang that has kind of given you some fun stories over the years?
接着Nina要跟大家分享2个之前让她百思不得其解的英国年轻人爱用语。为什么她听不懂呢？因为她爸爸不是年轻人啊，不会用这些俚语，所以连带的 Nina 也不熟悉这些英国比较潮的词，让她刚到伦敦的那段期间常常都不懂人家在说什么。像有一次啊，他就看到亲戚在社群媒体上分享一个跟女朋友的合照，然后注解给人家写说 She's punching， 但一般来说 punching 这个字是出拳用拳头猛打的那个样子，但用在这张合照就完全都讲不通啊，想说这女朋友是握拳的方式有怎么样吗？到底为什么要写 She's punching？后来Nina上网查才知道说，原来啊，在英国这个说法有高攀的意思。据说这女朋友高攀了男方，男方在那里偷偷给自己啵， 讲说自己很帅很优秀这样子。天哪，我讲到这边我的白眼都不自觉地翻到脑后了。第二个他分享的就比较没有这么臭美自恋了。他说有一次呢，某个他在约会对象问他说是不是有在认识其他的 Donny， 但妮娜没有认识谁的名字叫做 Donny， 整个一头雾水，不知道他在讲什么。后来上网查才知道说原来 Donny 这个字在英国是指男生的意思。赶快来听这段有趣的分享吧。
Yeah, definitely. So even though my dad spent most of his life in England, he doesn't really speak slang because he's not young.
He's old. Shout out Dad.
But yeah, so he's always taught us to speak English properly. So going to London, I picked up quite a few slang words that didn't make any sense to me in the beginning. So one example would be punching. So kind of like you're punching someone, the word punching, but it means something completely, just irrelevant. I remember once my cousin, he's from England, he posted a picture of him and his girlfriend. He wrote on the caption, "She's punching." And I was just really confused. Like, what is she punching? Is it because her fist is angled in a certain way? Like, is this an inside joke? But then I learned that punching actually means if you're with someone that is out of your league, so you're punching.
So your cousin was being a little sneaky boy and saying he's very attractive.
Exactly.
So she was punching out of her league.
Exactly.
And by getting him.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of this before?
No,
like
I haven't heard
States?
punching. I was thinking a kangaroo in my head, just dancing around punching.
Yeah, punching. And another word would be Donny. So there was this guy that I was seeing back in London, and he was flirting with me a bit, and he was like, "Oh yeah, how come you haven't really been chatting with me as much? Like, are you talking to some other Donny?" And I'm just like, I was confused because I'm like, okay, your name's not Donny. I don't know any Donny. Who is he talking about? And I actually Googled it, Urban Dictionary. Donny just means guy or dude. So it's really random.
Yeah, Donny. Yeah, I haven't heard that one either. So so punching and Donny, some English, some proper British English slang. Yeah, those are some great examples. So we'll have to definitely do a little breakdown on those because, British slang is so fun. And it's kind of this unique mixing of a lot of different phrases in different cultures and different languages that then get brought to the UK and turned into kind of this British slang.
I think they kind of mix up the languages and some words. So, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Who knows? But I definitely think I love it, and it is so fun. Whenever I talk to my British friends or anyone from the UK, my Scottish friends as well, or Irish friends have the funniest slang. God. But it's crazy. It's all English, so a lot of fun stuff right there. Unfortunately, that is bringing us to our last question here on NG英文. It's a question about the depth of Nina. So it is, if you could go back in time and talk to a younger Nina, would there be any advice you give yourself on language or life?
访谈最后，我们一样要来问问妮娜，有没有什么话想要告诉以前的自己呢？她说希望自己要坚强，不要担心，最后都会没事的。因为以前小时候在葡萄牙上学，其他小朋友都会因为她的亚洲脸嘲笑她，或是像之后搬回来台湾啊，班上同学也都会因为她的混血脸而去侮辱她，让妮娜打击很大，觉得自己好像到哪里都不能融入。不过她说却也是因为这样子，才塑造出现在长大后坚强的妮娜。
Ooh, that's a deep question. So growing up and being mixed, I was bullied as a child. So mostly because of the way I look. So in Portugal, I was bullied for looking Chinese or Taiwanese, but they would call me Chinese because it's the same to them. And in Taiwan, I would be also insulted for being mixed as well. So they would call me a mutt, things like that. And I took it pretty hard. It was very hard for me. I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. But to be honest, now I feel like it's a blessing because it really made me the strong person that I am today. I feel like I'm very blessed to be brought up in so many different cultures and to have experienced all of these cultures. So I would just tell her to not worry and that everything would work out and it's all for the better.
Yeah, beautifully said. And it is interesting how when we look back on our life, those things that were so painful to us, and now we, have maybe a different perspective and we can see the blessing that it truly is. So nicely said. I think, Nina, young Nina became a strong woman now because of those words of wisdom. So thank you for sharing with us today here.
Thank you for having
where
me.
can people find maybe some of your life online or any of your social media?
Yes. On Instagram, I am Nina Taiwan. I have posted some of the TV shows that I've been on. But yeah, you can just look for me there. And eventually, once I've posted my video about the lockdown and the virus, it will also be on my Instagram and my YouTube channel, which is also Nina Taiwan. I will be promoting it.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, Nina Taiwan. Yeah, you can definitely go practice some funny puns and slang because you are full of puns on your Instagram captions. Full of jokes, for sure.
I try.
You do well. I definitely have a laugh every time I see one. So thank you again for joining us, and we will talk to you soon, Nina.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Peace. All right. Well, that is our NG Ingwen show for today. We hope everyone enjoyed listening to that. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. You can search NG Ingwen, or you can search on IG NG English ICRT. And don't forget to tune in every Wednesday morning from 6:30 to 7 and Wednesday night from 9 to 9:30. We'll catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
好，那我们今天西平方的节目 NG 英文就到这边告一段落啦，感谢大家的收听，别忘了到 IG 搜寻我们的粉丝专页 NG English 再底线 ICRT， 大家也要记得每周三早上6点半到7点，或是晚上9点到9点半，把广播调到 ICRT FM 100，准时收听我们节目哦。那也欢迎各位上网搜寻西平方的攻其不备课程，或者呢是到我们西平方的官网多读一些有关 NG 英文的文章，看看有哪些是可以吸收学起来的小撇步哦。我们下周见了，拜拜。